What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. And this week's episode, last night at NXT TAKEOVER, I admit, yes, I did say in my prediction video last Thursday that the card for TAKEOVER in Your House 2, was pretty stacked. But after doing some extra research, I found out that I did a little research and I went back to the card and I realized that the card was pretty lackluster. And what I mean by that is the fact that we saw 5 championships being defended, including Karrion Kross defending his NXT title in a fatal 5-way main event. We had the winner-take-all 6-man tag, which was between Bronson Reed and MSK against Legado del Fantasma for the North American and the NXT Tag Team titles. Obviously, as well, Ember Moon and Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's title. And then, of course, Cameron Grimes and LA Knight for the $1 Million Championship in a ladder match. And I want to point out that this past Tuesday's NXT actually drew in, as far as the viewership goes, the ratings. Last week's episode, June 8th, only drew in 669,000 fans. The week after that was 668. The week prior, 698,000. The week prior only was 700,000. And then, of course, the week after that, not the week after that, the week before that, which was May 11th, 697. The competition for this past week's NXT, these last few weeks, was obviously the NBA playoffs, but the card for TAKEOVER in Your House had drew up not a whole lot of views as far as TAKEOVER goes, because of the fact that the card itself was 100% lackluster, because we were expecting more from this show, but there really wasn't anything too surprising, if you will. So when you look back on the match between Bronson Reed and MSK defending their North American and tag titles against Legado del Fantasma, there were so many key things that we saw in this matchup. First of all, we saw Santos Escobar hit a Michinoku driver on Bronson Reed, which was stupid impressive, because Santos is like 200 pounds. Bronson Reed is 320 pounds, which is insane. Another thing that we saw was Bronson Reed literally tackling Santos Escobar through the barricade, which took the plexiglass off of it, and it was pretty insane. Not only that, we even saw as well Bronson Reed hit a suicide dive through the ropes onto Legado del Fantasma, and to close out the match, Bronson Reed hit Raul Mendoza with a tsunami to retain all of the titles. This match was really good. My only problem was the fact that we did not see much of Santos Escobar. The only key things the only key components that we saw from Santos was obviously the Michinoku driver, and him getting a few shots in on MSK and also Bronson Reed as well. So this match was pretty lackluster. But if I were to rate this out of 5 stars, I would definitely give it 4 because that match had gotten everybody in the Capitol Wrestling Center at the edge of their seat because of the fact that Bronson Reed was able to do things that we never thought we would ever see, and it was pretty entertaining. I have to admit. And speaking of lackluster, here's another match. Another match that was 100% lackluster, and I was right about this match the entire time. Was Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez. Here's the thing: this rivalry goes back 4 years. Think about that for a second. It goes back 4 years. In the first round, if I remember correctly, let me go back to that one. Let me look online, and I'll show you guys. I want the one for 2017? Yeah. 2017, that's the one I want. If I remember correctly, if my memory serves me right, yeah, in the second episode of the Mae Young Classic, in the very first round, Xia Li defeated Mercedes, actually lost to Martinez in literally 3 minutes via a submission. In the first round. And Xia Li was still bitter by that loss. So she decided to target Mercedes over the last couple weeks on NXT, and now obviously Xia Li was able to get her revenge, but one thing that boggled my mind was was the fact that Mei Ying, I think I called her Mei Ling. I think I said. So I do apologize if I got the name wrong, but Mei Ying is the name. Fans actually reacted to Mei Ying standing up from her chair from her throne to confront Mercedes Martinez, and the only thing that was good from this match, from bell to bell, and then the aftermath of it, was Mei Ying standing up from her chair and grabbing Mercedes by her, like, right around her jawline area, like throwing jaw areas, and throwing her into the plexiglass barricade, and it was just I don't even know how the fuck to describe it, except the fact that this match was just sad. This was one of the saddest matches I had ever seen. I mean, don't get me wrong. Xia Li and Mercedes Martinez are two incredible athletes, but this match did nothing. It did nothing for this takeover. So I would have to give this one 2 stars. 2 stars just because of the fact that Mei Ying actually stood up from her chair to confront Mercedes Martinez. Had that moment not have happened, I probably would have given it like 1 star because the match was just sad. It was just sad. And then, of course, the third match on the card, we had LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes for the $1 Million Championship, which was in a ladder match. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, had cut an incredible promo, or it was pre-taped. So obviously it was part of the vignette that led into the match. You guys saw, if you guys saw that one, last night at Takeover. Explaining the importance of the $1 million championship and the $1 million legacy. And it's interesting because I talked about it last night that Ted DiBiase actually spent, from what we know, as far as the $1 million championship goes, we know that from what we know, DiBiase, legend has it that the title cost DiBiase more than $40,000 to get it into creation, and he got it made at a jeweler in Greenwich, Connecticut, which honestly was pretty crazy. It was actually, I believe, it was one of the more expensive jewelers in America, if I remember correctly. Excuse me. And people also forget that DiBiase is a former King of the Ring winner. As crazy as it sounds, he is a former king of the Ring, one of the first King of the Ring winners. Which one? The 1988 King of the Ring. And I'm actually gonna... So, so he is actually a former King of the Ring winner. To name off some of DiBiase's accomplishments, he had won... He's a two-time $1 million champion. He's a former 24/7 champion. He had won the WWE Championship, but truth be told, he actually bought the title from Andre the Giant when Andre had beat Hulk Hogan with a imposter referee, of course. He's a former WWE North American champion. Crazy enough, the WWE actually had more championships than what we had during the golden era, where we had Hogan and Andre and whatnot. They had what was called the WWF North American Championship, which was short-lived. Actually, it only lasted for, the title had lasted for a year, and it lasted from February 13th, 1979, all the way to I think it was like somewhere in 1980. And not only that, he's a former 3-time tag team champion with IRS, part of Money Inc., a 1988 King of the Ring winner, and the 2010 a Hall of Famer got inducted in 2010. 2 Slammies, one for Humanitarian of the Year in 87, and Best Manager in 94. Crazy enough. So those are some incredible accomplishments for the $1 Million Man, and this match between LA Knight and Cameron Grimes showcased 2 superstars who came from nothing and built themselves up into the superstars that we see now. And it's funny because, and I find it funny because Cameron Grimes is, when he started in NXT, the fans did not like him. They would boo him out of the damn building. But with the new attitude, with the money, and with the new entrance music, the fans have started to like him, and that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary, but pretty funny as well. LA Knight, he's only been in NXT for a few months. and he's already won a championship. Grimes has been in NXT for a couple years and has yet to win a championship. So that speaks volume. That speaks volume. But this match felt like a traditional wrestling match rather than a ladder match, because with ladder matches, usually you would think that this would go for about what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at best, maybe. This one, I believe, only lasted about 10-15 minutes at best, and that was it. That was it. And for LA Knight to climb the gold-plated ladder and grab the briefcase that had the title in it was just adding insult to injury onto Cameron Grimes, because Grimes was the one that brought in that gold-plated that gold-plated ladder. So that speaks volume. But as far as the match goes, it was pretty crazy. I enjoyed it, honestly. It was pretty cool. But the ending of it was just too anticlimactic. It just didn't really fit too well. So I would probably have to give this one 3 stars, just because of the fact that even though LA Knight did win that match, I feel like as if maybe Cameron Grimes maybe should have won it, because I feel like as if, in my opinion, Cameron Grimes is more fit to carry the $1 Million legacy rather than LA Knight, because LA Knight, with him now as the $1 Million champion, there's no telling what could happen next for LA Knight. I mean, I know that this past Saturday, at the NXT Takeover in Your House Global Press Conference, LA Knight had mentioned that even though he wants to become the $1 Million champion, he still has his eyes on the North American Championship, the NXT Championship. He still has those title aspirations, but the big question is, with him now as the $1 Million champion, who does he target more? Does he target Bronson Reed and the NXT North American title, or does he target Karrion Kross and the NXT Championship? That's the big question there. Now for the women's title, we knew that the match was gonna have we knew this match was gonna have a very anticlimactic ending, because when it comes to Raquel Gonzalez as NXT Women's Champion, you knew damn well that Dakota Kai was going to get involved. You knew she was going to, and it got to the point where Shotzi Blackheart could not stand it anymore and attacked Dakota Kai on stage and on the set of TakeOver in Your House 2. And the funny thing is that a few things had actually happened during this matchup. First of all, Gonzalez rolled out quite the handful of innovative offensive moves in the match to not only stop Ember Moon from gaining any momentum, but it also woke the crowd up, because with the last match, it was almost like we were watching a sleeper match, like we did with Xia Li and Mercedes Martinez. Not only that, but she had talked so much shit to Ember Moon, obviously speaking in Spanish, of course, but also as well, when Ember Moon had hit the Eclipse on Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai took the leg, put it on the ropes, and just backed off, just standing there like, I did nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. And then Shotzi Blackheart came out and attacked Dakota, but obviously with the with that one arm power bomb that she calls the Shingona bomb. Gonzalez ended up retaining the NXT Women's Championship. I feel like as if had Dakota Kai not have gotten involved, and I mentioned this last night, had Dakota Kai not have gotten involved, I feel like as if we could have had a new NXT Women's Champion, but of course we will never know. But this match was pretty cool. It showcased this was a clear case of the young gun versus the veteran. Remember, Ember Moon is no stranger to NXT. She's been a part of NXT before, and Raquel Gonzalez, this is only her first, or rather her second championship ever in NXT. Ember Moon has won the NXT Women's title before, but let's not forget, Ember Moon has been in NXT longer than Raquel Gonzalez, so one has to wonder who would have the upper hand. Would it be Ember Moon or would it be Raquel Gonzalez? We will never know, because Dakota Kai got involved and Raquel Gonzalez ended up winning that one. Now for the main event, it was a fatal 5-way match for the NXT Championship. It was Karrion Kross defending the title against Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Cole. One thing that I wanted to point out was the fact that Johnny Gargano's gear was not only based on Shawn Michaels, was based on WWE Hall of Famer, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, but it also had a spin on Magneto, or Eric Lenscher from the X-Men series. No copyrights here. Y'all know how this works with the algorithm, but it was a mix of WWE, of Gargano's passion with WWE and superhero movies. You know, so I have to admit the gear was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, but it did nothing for Johnny Gargano. But in my opinion, between Cole, O'Reilly, Dunne, and Gargano, the funny thing is that one of them should go to the main roster, one should go to 205 Live, and one should go to NXT UK, and then the last one should stay put. Who? That's hard to say. If I had to pick who should go where, I feel like it's if Adam Cole should go to Monday Night Raw. Kyle O'Reilly should go to 205 Live. Gargano to NXT UK, and then Dunne staying put. Why? Why do I think that? Gargano to NXT UK because he's one of the most prolific technical wrestlers in NXT today. He is. And for him to go to NXT UK, he could really be a good asset to the brand, give the brand a bit of a facelift, if you will. Because with Dunne now in NXT, there's nobody on the NXT UK roster to take Walter to the limit. Tommaso Ciampa has done it. Pete Dunne has done it. Jordan Devlin has done it. Rampage Brown, Joe Coffey. Who else can I think of? Tyler Bate, A-Kid. There's been a long list of superstars in NXT and in NXT UK who have took Walter to the limit, but I don't think nobody could take Walter to the limit quite like Johnny Gargano. Dunne staying put in NXT. He's already done so much for NXT UK. He's one of the founding fathers. Why not have Pete Dunne stay in NXT and make him one of the new Mount Rushmores of NXT? O'Reilly to 205 Live because Kyle O'Reilly is so quick. He is so quick on his feet. So quick on his feet when it comes to striking, his submission. That could really up the game for 205 Live. Now Cole on the main roster, more so on Raw. I mean, come on, it's Adam Cole. It's Adam Cole, baby. You can't go wrong with that, honestly. But that's just my opinion anyway. But one thing that I noticed, that caught my eye was the fact that Dunn, Gargano, and O'Reilly were beating the holy hell out of Adam Cole, and then all four men were beating the hell out of Karrion Kross. But even with all that, even with all the punishment that Kross received from Dunn, O'Reilly, Cole, and Gargano, Karrion Kross was still able to apply the cross jacket onto Kyle O'Reilly to retain the NXT title. And then, and William Regal was asked about his thoughts on TakeOver in Your House 2 and what he made of it, and he said, maybe it's time for a change. I've been hearing rumors over the last 24 hours. I've been hearing rumors that Samoa Joe could be the new general manager of NXT. William Regal may be stepping down. May end up stepping down, and Joe taking over. If that is the case, then the landscape of NXT will change drastically. But this match, absolutely insane. Just pure bedlam. It was like watching a horror movie, honestly. But as far as how I would rate this, 4 stars easily. Overall, the card was pretty decent. The only 2 matches that were like really good were the opening match, which was the 6-man tag, and then the main event. That's it. Overall, 3 stars. 3 stars. It was so lackluster. Words really can't describe how lackluster it was. But one thing that I believe that we can expect to see with the fallout of NXT TakeOver in Your House 2 is the fact that William Regal tomorrow night on NXT is supposed to be making an announcement regarding the future of NXT, which again could mean Samoa Joe taking over, which is a possibility, but of course, never know. You never know what can happen. And I think I believe we're also going to be seeing Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher against the Grizzly Young Veterans in a tornado tag, and then of course Kushida defending his Cruiserweight title in a Cruiserweight Championship Open Challenge. So that is what we are going to expect tomorrow night. But again, this was so lackluster. Literally 3 matches. The second match, the third match, and the women's title match. So lackluster. It was just not even there. The viewership for this takeover was so low. It was bad. I believe this was one of the worst NXT takeovers ever. And keep this in mind. This was the last NXT takeover that we have before WWE goes back on tour. Remember, next month WWE is going back on tour, and NXT is going to be paying fans again. Even though they kind of did last night, if you guys noticed, I'm talking about at a full capacity, like having 15,000, 16,000 fans potentially. And with the next takeover coming up, which I believe will be SummerSlam weekend, there's no telling what could happen. And this takeover, last night's takeover, was not a prelude to our next takeover. It was just horrible, honestly. But guys, that is gonna do it for this episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Let me know in the comments below your guys' thoughts on TakeOver last night, and answer the question of the day. Who do you guys believe should be NXT general manager. Should William Regal stay as GM, or should someone else take over? Let me know in the comments below. And that is going to do it for this episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which gets posted every Monday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to check me out on Twitter and Instagram. All three of my links will be down in the description. And if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.